I said that we're not liars. Neither one of us are the person that we were.
I mean, I knew you
and
grew
I've
up
been your mother every day
then.
since then.
You have been my mother, but you've been lying to me about who my father is for 22 years.
I've believed that he's been my father so long that I actually named my youngest son after him.
You did?
I did.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I named him Dallas Trent because I didn't want to miss the opportunity.
They had me paying child support, Your Honor.
Let me see that paperwork.
They knew.
Jerome,
That doesn't make sense.
you were paying child support.
That's what
Don't they have to
doing.
determine paternity to be able to make you pay child support?
And then no-
Yeah, you do have to have a paternity affidavit.
Mr. Peterson's living his life, probably thinking about whether to grill or barbecue this weekend, when bam, Mrs. Peterson drops the bombshell that their family tree might just have a few unexpected branches. Their 22-year-old daughter, LaJoya Jackson, might have more dads in the mix than a sitcom from the 90s. Mrs. Peterson, in a plot twist worthy of a soap opera marathon, reveals a blast. From her past in the form of an affair right around the time LaJoya was conceived. But here's the kicker. She's hell-bent on proving that Mr. Peterson is the real daddy-o, turning what should be a straightforward lineage into a family bush of biblical proportions.
Mr. Peterson, just 1 month ago, your world came crumbling down when your wife, Mrs. Peterson, revealed she had been keeping a secret. 22-year-old daughter, LaJoya Jackson, may not be your biological daughter. Mrs. Peterson, you admit that 22 years ago, during the window of conception, you had sex with another man, Mr. Beckham, but you want to prove today in court that Mr. Peterson is Ms. Jackson's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, buckle up and pop the popcorn, because Mrs. Peterson is kicking the drama up several notches to a level even reality TV might blush at. Just when you thought dinner could only be about passing the peas and dodging personal questions, she pulls a move straight out of a daytime TV special. She's not just inviting potential dads to a Guess Who's Your Daddy dinner party, she's turning the dining room into the set of a paternity test reveal, but with more appetizers. Yep, it's like being on a game show, where the grand prize is a deep dive into your family's gene pool, and the consolation prize is unlimited access to the family therapist. Who knew that family gatherings could also double as a live-action Maury Povich episode?
A month ago, I was previously in court because I had a similar situation with my child father, with my boyfriend. I lied and told him that he was not the father. I didn't like having that between us, and I came clean to him and asked her, do you want to just go and do it so that, you know, just for my clarity, because I'm feeling some type of way. And she had never admitted that there was a possibility of one guy potentially being my father. And then I found out there were multiple guys that could possibly be my father.
Just when you think it couldn't get more complicated, the court prepares to introduce Mr. Beckham, another potential father, shedding light on Mrs. Peterson's past and the complicated web of relationships that have led to the current paternity dispute. It feels like the season finale of a soap opera, where the writers have just thrown in a new character for the shock value. The courtroom holds its breath, half expecting Maury Povich to walk in with the envelope. You won't believe Mr. Beckham's story, but don't go anywhere, because what comes next is even more jaw-dropping.
Would you have ever said anything if this man had not approached her a year ago?
Yeah, she did. She did, Your Honor. It's a potential that somebody else could be my father because I never thought that this could happen to me. I just wake up and be like, oh, Dad, make me some cereal. Not, oh, this might not be my dad. And now if he feels as if he can't take this and I'm not his child, he can walk away at any moment. He has no ties or connections to me or my children if he's not my father.
The air is so thick with tension, you could cut it with a butter knife, or, in LaJoya's case, with the sharp edges of a family tree gone wild. As she lays out her feelings of betrayal and abandonment, it's like watching someone navigate a minefield in clown shoes. Awkward, painful, but strangely captivating. When she whips out that chart of potential fathers, it's less who's your daddy and more who's not your daddy in a plot twist bingo that has everyone on the edge of their seats. The bombshell moment that follows is so shocking, it makes reality TV blush with envy. And just when you think the roller coaster has come to a stop, it lurches forward again, proving life in LaJoya's world is more twisted than a pretzel in a yoga class.
When did you find out that you could potentially be her biological father?
I found out like about 2 weeks ago. She contacted me through Facebook, and basically she had once told me once before that, you know, she could have been pregnant or whatever, so, but I had don't move. But basically, you know, we had met at a party, you know, we was drinking, everything, there was a lot going on.
But drinking mean that you couldn't have been the father.
Right, exactly.
Try to pursue and seeing what was going on.
But basically at the time, I was young, I was scared.
So when you grew up, why didn't you try to contact her like, oh, let me see what she did with the child or anything?
You're not going to believe what happens next. The court proceeds to reveal the DNA test results, first clearing Mr. Beckham as the father, followed by the shocking revelation that Mr. Peterson is also not LaJoya's biological father. The news devastates the family, leaving them to grapple with their shattered relationships and identities. Meanwhile, the judge can't help but wonder if Maury Povich is available for a guest appearance to liven things up. But just when you think it's over, there's more. The next clip will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew.
Mrs. Peterson say to you, "I'm pregnant and you're the father."
Still somewhat like that. She said it. I could be the father.
You could be. You testified that you did not tell him you were pregnant.
I didn't.
So is he remembering the story wrong?
Yes, Your Honor.
So he's remembering it wrong or you're remembering it wrong? Because to me, neither one of y'all got y'all story straight.
I said that we're not liars. Neither one of us are the person that we were.
I mean, I know you
And
grew
I've
up
been your mother every
before
day
then.
since then.
You have been my mother, but you've been lying to me about who my father is for 22 years.
In the wake of the family drama, the Petersons are hit with a twist straight out of a daytime TV show. The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Beckham, you are not her father. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Peterson, you are not her father.
Oh my God, are you serious? Really, Mom?
Miss Manship reveals her lifelong search for her biological father, a journey that began at age 10 when she discovered the man she believed was her father was not. She shares her exhaustive and fruitless efforts to find her biological father, Mr. Lopp, including online searches and inquiries in Arkansas, where he was last known to be. This leads to the court revealing they have located Mr. Lopp, who was about to meet Miss Manship and her mother for the first time in over 30 years. As if the story wasn't bizarre enough, Miss Manship humorously recounts the time she mistook a mannequin at a department store for Mr. Lopp, leading to an awkward apology to a very confused sales assistant. She jokes about considering a DNA test with a suspiciously familiar-looking pizza delivery guy. There's also the time she got a lead from a psychic named Madame Fifi, who, despite her crystal ball, could only predict Miss Manship's future cat ownership, not her father's whereabouts. Just you wait, the story takes an emotional turn next. Brace yourself, the emotional roller coaster is just beginning.
Ms. Manship, at the age of 10, you were shocked and devastated to learn that your dad was not your biological father. That began your 20-year search to find the man your mother claims is your father. After your exhaustive search to find him, you came up with nothing.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any more complicated, the focus shifts to Miss Manship's mother, Miss Lutman, who provides background on her relationship with Mr. Lopp and the circumstances surrounding Miss Manship's conception and birth. This segment reveals a tangled web of relationships, assumptions, and missed opportunities for truth until the DNA test when Miss Manship was 10 years old. The story unravels like a soap opera with less amnesia and more reality checks. Miss Lutman, in a tell-all mood, spills the beans with the kind of enthusiasm usually reserved for sharing hot gossip over a fence with a neighbor. It's like unraveling a family sweater knitted with threads of intrigue, drama, and a dash of humor, thanks to Aunt Gertrude's questionable recollection of events. Hang on, the revelations from the DNA test are about to shake things up.
Me and my ex got back together. About a month later, I started getting symptoms of getting pregnant. My ex, so I figured it was my ex's baby.
When you found out you were pregnant, you thought it was your ex's child.
I just figured it was my ex's because by being a month later, and being with him.
And so you had the baby, and you and your ex raised the baby up until she was 10. That's when she said she was told.
Yes.
And so when you got the paternity results, you immediately knew, well, if it's not my ex, it is Mr. Lopp.
Yes.
Just as everyone starts to settle down from the high of the discovery, a distant relative, twice removed and known for crashing family gatherings, enters with a karaoke machine in tow. Looks like we're going to find out if poor dancing is the only talent running in the family, he announces, sparking a mix of excitement and dread. Mr. Lopp, ever the enthusiast, sees this as a challenge and immediately starts warming up his vocal cords, which, to the surprise of many, resemble the sound of a cat in a disagreement with a vacuum cleaner. As Miss Manship braces herself for what could only be described as an epic display of inherited lack of musical talent, she can't help but think that at least life's about to get a whole lot more interesting.
When he said that, your head just dropped. What are you thinking in this moment, hearing that?
I'm just hoping that everything I've been told is true, because if it is, I'm the only one out there that he has. So I've believed that he's been my father so long that I actually named my youngest son after him.
You did?
I did.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I named him Dallas Trent because I didn't want to miss the opportunity, if he was, to have one of my children have his name in it. I haven't been married. In hopes that maybe one day I did find him, I'd have that one moment left with him.
The results are in, and they're wild.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lau, you are the father.
Ready for a whirlwind of a tale that'll have you scratching your head and chuckling at the same time? So, here goes. Ms. Brown and her mom. Alicia were just chilling when out of the blue, Mr. Hampton shows up claiming to be Ms. Brown's long-lost dad. It's like something out of a mystery book, but with real people and way less pausing for dramatic effect. This whole situation kicks off a wild ride into the world of family secrets and wait, what? Moments. And trust me, it only gets wackier from here.
You stand before the court with your mother, Alicia Brown, turned upside down when you were contacted by a man whom you've never even heard of, claiming to be your birth father. Now that man, Mr. Hampton, is waiting in our courtroom hallway.
Just when you're catching your breath, boom, the plot thickens. Mr. Hampton swings in with a tale that sounds straight out of a movie. He's been looking for his daughter for 20 years, convinced Ms. Brown is his. The backstory with Ms. Brown's mom, total soap opera material, but with more feels and less fake gasping.
I couldn't take you at the time. I had to go back to Seattle. I cried every minute on the plane.
Do you have any proof of this?
The toys first bought her before they left, Your Honor.
Jerome, hand me the evidence, please. So this is a picture, the person, Ms. Brown's birth mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
And she's pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next up, Alicia Brown, aka Kayla's adoptive supermom, grabs the mic. She's got a story that's more tangled than your headphones in your pocket. Amidst a sea of adoption papers and legal stuff, she drops a bomb about Kayla's bio dad that's juicier than a reality TV show finale. This saga's peeling off drama layers like an onion, and we're all here for the next reveal.
They had me paying child support, Your Honor.
Let me see that paperwork.
They knew.
That doesn't make sense.
You were paying child support.
Pay child support?
They know.
Yeah, you do have to have a paternity affidavit.
Well, then they must have proved that I was your father then.
The paperwork states that there is an order for child support in Alaska and that the order names you as the father.
I mean, my
So
mom,
listen.
my biological mom I have biological siblings that are literally consecutive years under me.
Hold on to your seats because Mr. Hampton's back at it with the drama. Big time. He's laying out his feelings for Kayla like he's gunning for an award, even though they might not be related by blood. It's like he's the main character in a tearjerker, making us all reach for the tissues. The suspense is building up to a twist that's going to smack us in the feels. And just when you think it can't get more intense, brace yourself. There's more to come.
I've gone through a lot the last 20 years, Your Honor. This is my life, Your Honor. I've made some bad choices, Your Honor, but I've never run from any of my children, Your Honor. And that's why I'm here today, right here in court, because I felt all the hurt, everything, Your Honor.
I see your heart is breaking, I really do.
And just when you think you've got it all figured out, plot twist.
In the case of Brown v. Hampton, pertaining to 20-year-old Kayla Brown, Mr. Hampton, you have desperately waited for this answer. You are not her father.
Can you believe the turn of events? Phelan Hannon reveals on her mother's deathbed she was told that David Dorsey, a man she has never met, is her biological father. She comes to court to prove paternity and seek closure, marking her first ever encounter with Dorsey. Phelan couldn't help but wonder if this mystery dad came with a handbook on how to deal with Dramatic Revelations 101, or at least a sorry I missed your life greeting card. Just when you think it can't get more dramatic, keep watching.
Ms. Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, "I am not your daddy." Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father. You are here to prove paternity and gain closure, and you have never spoken to or laid eyes on Mr. Dorsey, but will meet him for the very first time.
So, you're all set for the big daddy-daughter dance, dreaming of that perfect fatherly figure to twirl you around when suddenly, bam, the man you've been calling dad hits you with a sorry kiddo, not your actual dad. It's like gearing up to meet Santa Claus, only to catch your Uncle Rick in the red suit sneaking cookies at midnight. Talk about a plot twist.
You don't know her.
No, I don't.
Ms. Hannon, do you have a picture of your mother with you? Show that picture to Mr. Dorsey. Do you remember that woman?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Hannon, what have you been told about your mother's relationship with Mr. Dorsey?
From our conversations that we used to have, is like they talked, like they weren't in a relationship, I guess, like they talked here and there. I knew that he worked at a fast food restaurant. He was a manager at a fast food restaurant from her and, talked, mingled here and there.
Were you a manager at a fast food restaurant?
No, ma'am, but I worked at a fast food restaurant.
You worked at one?
Yes, ma'am.
In the latest Who's Your Daddy roller coaster episode, we've hit a twist that's soap opera worthy. Mr. Hampton isn't Kayla's biological dad after all. It's like we're dealing with the world's most stubborn stubborn Christmas lights. Just when you think you've untangled everything, another knot appears. As we pick our jaws up from the ground, it's clear this family saga has more surprises in store. Keep your eyes peeled because this ride's loop-de-loop has more twists coming. Just when we thought we'd seen it all, the story peels back another layer, gearing up to wow us again. Strap in because this tale is about to throw another wild pitch, adding even more spice to an already zesty story.
As you listen to Mr. Dorsey consistently say, I don't even know this woman, I've never even met her, or in your heart you do believe that is your father and this is your sister.
It makes me feel torn because he says he doesn't remember, but who all remembers every white night stand they done had when they was a kid? So I can't fault him for saying he don't remember. And maybe he don't remember that fling.
He just
wasn't the
doesn't
best
remember
fling.
I don't remember having sex with your mom. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
What was it that made you want to come today? I mean, if you've never met this woman and you have never had sex with her and you don't know what is going on, why did you come?
I want closure for Fallon.
Just when you thought daytime TV had maxed out on drama, the courtroom takes it up a notch. The judge, with a flair for the theatrical, leans forward, about to drop the kind of bombshell that makes soap operas look like documentaries.
Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
Yeah.